Hey guys, it's Flynn. Today I want to talk about mind medicine or MMEDF. Today I plan to cover topics like what is MindMed, is there a future in psychedelics and medical treatment, and cover some recent events that have shocked the world of psychedelic treatments. To start off, MindMed is a psychedelic biotech company that discovers, develops, and employs the use of psychedelic inspired treatments to address a multitude of illnesses like mental illness, PTSD, and addiction. Some of the psychedelics they use include psilocybin, LSD, MDMA, and DMT, to name a few. They are based out of the One World Trade Center in New York City, New York. The stock is currently trading at a price of $4.67 and a market cap of just over 1.5 billion on its most recent trading day of December 14th, 2020. Next, I want to briefly talk about the listing requirements that MindMed will be facing in the coming weeks to months, with the most important milestone being reached just a few days ago, with the company surpassing, with the share price surpassing a minimum share price of $2, which also needs to trade for a minimum of 5 consecutive days above $2 a share. Now, there are other requirements that I have not listed in this video, but the largest hurdle that MindMed had to face was the $2 share price. There are some smaller ones like how many public shares are there, the percentages and all that, but those aren't really necessary to be talked about because MindMed has already had those completed way before Nasdaq uplisting was a thing. Next, I wanted to talk about my extensive research and what I've seen through the uplisting process and how it relates to MindMed. And some of the best estimates I've seen is that MindMed, by its soonest, will find itself on the Nasdaq in Q1 2021 or even Q2 2021. There's still a while that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done before they become listed on the Nasdaq. It's not as easy as they reach a share price of $2 and then they're on the Nasdaq the next day. It's really an extensive legal process. Now, I'd like to talk about the viability of psychedelic treatments in a world that mostly still stigmatizes them. But with some historical context, you can see that medical treatments continue to further and further move to the left. For example, with the recent announcements of approved medical trials in the UK and Canada, I think it's a no-brainer that this medical treatment will make its way to the US eventually. I derived this logic by looking at what history has deemed as radical procedures. For example, in the Netherlands, assisted suicide is starting to become more utilized, a more utilized procedure, and it's also starting to make its way in other EU countries. And it's actually started to spread to the US with 8 states. I mention it because it's considered a radical medical treatment or procedure, just what psychedelics are deemed as in societal's view. Now, I do want to add that the psychedelic industry still has a lot of work to do, with Mind Medicine having many projects in the pipeline. Compared to their competitors, it makes MindMed a really attractive company because they have diversified their risk and working with multitude of drugs instead of just one drug like other competitors have. They have recently strengthened their cash position, increasing it by 25 million in its most recent deal. It's without a doubt that Mind Medicine will need to raise money in the future in order to finance the expenses of running multiple medical trials at the same time, which can cost millions. Now that we are at the end of the video, I do want to disclose that during the making of the script, I did hold shares locked in at 98 cents per share, but in the first few minutes of trading hours today, I did sell my entire position, locking in a record return of 338.27%. Some of you may be wondering why I did sell my position, and it's because it was becoming way larger than it should be, and as a responsible investor, it would have been foolish for me not to lock in the profits and lower my risk of diversification, is increase my diversification, which I couldn't do with my account, my position in Mind Medicine growing exponentially, and it was going to become more than 25% of my portfolio's value. So that is why I sold it, in order to keep well diversified and spread out my risk. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think about Mind Medicine. Let me know what if you guys bought in, what prices you have. I'm very interested to see what do you guys expect to see in the future with Mind Medicine. Do you think this is just going to be a run up and then it's going to run down, or do you actually see long-term share price growth? Let me know. Thanks, guys.